Greetings, Whovians. Whovian Queener. Hope I'm having a good week so far. Well, it's now time to take a look at my top 10 favorite 10th Doctor stories. So, let's get started with number 10, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Now, the reason why this is at number 10 is because, yes, even though it's a Christmas special and stuff like that, to me, it doesn't actually feel like a Christmas episode. It just feels more like a superhero story, and the whole feel of it being Christmas episode is kind of pushed to the background. Instead, it's more focused on, this kid who meets up with the doctor, and then eventually, because of this, because of this thing that he took, it gives him superpowers and whatnot. So there's that. So yeah, it's definitely has more of like a superhero feel to it rather than a Christmas episode feel to it. So there you go. But still, overall, I think it's enjoyable. Just not what I was expecting from a Christmas episode. So there you go. Next up, number 9, In the Forest of the Night. This episode is just kind of mad to me. Again, there's nothing wrong about it. It's just, the fact that there's this giant forest that's growing all over Earth, and it's there to protect the Earth from this giant solar flare and whatnot. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting, I guess. But again, I feel like there's nothing really of sustenance to this episode. I mean, yes, there's this whole thing with the little girl who runs off and whatnot. But other than that, I mean, it's just an okay episode. So yeah, nothing else I can say about it. So there you go. Next up, number 8, Sleep No More. I think this episode is kind of interesting because it is kind of like a found footage episode, which I think is kind of interesting. But the whole thing about, there's something in your eye and stuff like that, and like this sand creature and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting at least, but I mean, it's just not. I mean, it's okay, I guess, as far as found footage episodes go, but it is kind of scary a little bit how this one guy wants to, have sand people. He's trying to like generate sand people everywhere and stuff like that, or something like that. But overall, it's just an okay episode. And again, I just think it's just kind of mad to me. So there you go. And and in a season that was full of like, multi-parters and whatnot, to me, I feel like this episode could have worked better maybe in the previous season or maybe in the following season. But again, that's just me. So there you go. So yeah, anyway, number 7, The Pilot. This episode, which introduces Belle Potts as the new companion, played brilliantly by Pearl Mackie. I wish we had a little bit more time with her rather than just, one season with her and that being it. I wish she could have carried on over to the Jodie Whittaker era, but unfortunately that's not what ended up happening. So there you go. But overall, though, I think that this episode was kind of interesting, though, and while it doesn't really set up anything that's going to happen later on in the season, I thought it was brilliant, and of course, there's the whole thing, where the doctor was going to erase Bill's memory of him and stuff like that. But thankfully, he did not go through with that and stuff like that because, he did the same thing to Donna. And of course, what ended up happening there. And of course, there's the whole thing about the doctor not remembering Clara and stuff like that. But of course, that all got fixed in Twice Upon a Time. So there you go. But other than that, I think this episode is pretty good, so there you go. All right, number 6, Empress of Mars. I thought this episode was kind of interesting how they brought back the Ice Warriors because we haven't seen them in a while. And again, I love it when the show brings back classic monsters and classic villains. I thought that having that in this episode was great. And that's really all I can say about it. It's a solid Ice Warrior story. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Number 5, Death in Heaven. This was the final episode of Series 8. Yeah, Series 8. Also along with the Christmas special, which I'll talk about a little bit. But this episode was really emotional because of the fact that, we think Danny's going to come back, but instead he decides to bring back this little boy that he accidentally killed when he was a soldier. So I thought that was just phenomenal, really. Although I wish that maybe there could have been enough power to bring back both the kid and Danny, but sadly that ended up being the case. And overall, though, in Series 8, I thought that Danny Pink was a very interesting and unique character, and I thought it was kind of interesting, though, like the relationship that was building between Danny and Clara. I thought that was actually kind of unique and interesting, but sadly it ended, and that was kind of upsetting to me, so there you go. But yeah, and of course, the whole thing with Missy, I love Missy. I just really love Michelle Gomez. I hope that, I think that I think that Michelle Gomez is voicing the character for Big Finish Audio Productions, which I think is great. She was just a blast every time she was on screen and stuff like that, so there you go. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Now, coming in number 4, Last Christmas. Out of all the Peter Capaldi Christmas specials, this one is my absolute favorite. I love it. I love that it's kind of a little tweak on the whole alien thing because, the crab things do kind of look like facehuggers a little bit. And even the doctor remarks that, there's a movie called Alien and stuff like that. So there you go. But yeah, overall, though, I think that this Christmas special is definitely the best one of the Capaldi era. And, I just wish that some of their Christmas specials were kind of like this, but there you go. And Nick Frost as Santa, he did a darn good job. So yeah, I wish you could have popped up a little bit more, but hey, that's just me. So there you go. Yeah. So anyway, coming in at number 3, Hell Bent, the Series 9 finale. I really do enjoy this episode a lot. Of course, this episode does have the emotional gut punch of the Doctor losing his memories of Clara. I thought that was kind of really, really emotional and stuff like that. But yeah, and of course, as the Series 9 finale, I absolutely loved it. This is definitely my favorite season finale of the Capaldi era, and I just absolutely love this episode so much. And I just, I wish that some of the other finales had been a little bit better, but that's just my opinion, so there you go. Excuse me. But overall, though, I loved Hellbent, and I really do hope that we get to see Clara again at some point, but again, I highly doubt that, so there you go. All right. Now, number 2, Deep Breath, the Series 8 premiere episode. Oh my gosh, do I love this episode. Of course, with all episodes featuring the new Doctor, they're, of course, trying to figure out their personality, who they are and whatnot, and of course, we get a brand new TARDIS interior here, which I think is freaking fantastic. The Doctor's new wardrobe, I think, is fantastic. It's definitely kind of like a little bit John Pertwee-esque, if that makes any sense. But yeah. So overall, though, I really do enjoy this episode a lot, and it's just fan-freaking-tastic. So there you go. All right, finally, number 1, Face the Raven. This to me is probably the most emotional episode ever, considering it's the episode which features the death of Clara. I mean, obviously she comes back in the Series 9 finale episode, and then we see her one final time and twice upon a time. So there you go. But yeah, just overall, though, this is just a really gut punch of an episode, and we all know why Clara did that. It was in order to save Rigsy, who appeared in the Series 8 episode Flatline. And this, oh my gosh, there's no words I can say. Like, Clara's speech to the Doctor before she decides to, as the episode says, face the Raven, I thought was kind of interesting. And of course, the Doctor just, he's trying his best to save Clara, but Clara's like, no, there's nothing you can do. I did this. I have to accept the consequences of my actions. So there you go. And of course, what the Doctor says to a Shielder, played, of course, by Macy Williams from Game of Thrones, it's just like, whoa. Like, the Doctor is just pissed. So there you go. But yeah. Those are my top 10 favorite episodes from the Peter Capaldi era. Let me know what your favorite episodes are down in the comment section below. And until next time, when we take a look at Jodie Whittaker's time as a doctor, this is Hoovie and Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I'm Marissa Player, the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.